As Ken mentioned, the intent of NetJets, in our estimation, is to basically start with the Hawker fleet and be common across the fleet. They currently have 4 different OEMs, and they're adding 2 more. And them offers a maintenance support system. So, as far as we can see, the intent is to basically domino this thing throughout the organization. But it's not. That's about all we can say at this point. We're working both sides of the pond, and I think there's always a wait and see with something new like this. So the guys in the States who control most of the airplanes will probably have a look and see if the benefits are actually measured to the extent that we demonstrate in the in-service evaluation before they commit.
Well, I think our stock is way, way undervalued. If you look at the recurring revenue that we have on the books and assign some multiple to it, and some people say 30, but I think even if you use a multiple of 10, we've got $4.5 million worth of recurring revenue, so that's $40 million. We've got loss carryforwards, tax loss carryforwards at any company that's making a lot of money, and it's what, 35 million, Tom, approximately right now? Just $35 million that they could get 40% of that by owning this company if they were making that kind of money. So that's another 12 million. There's patents, there's STCs, there's, if you can't put a 10 or 12 or $15 million valuation on the certification and the relationships we've got, the contracts that we've got with the Chinese government, because we're reducing the R&D costs, we've got the majority of the contractors are leaving the project. Staff is picking up what has to be done to finish off the development. Certification work is mainly internal people resources. There's some external costs for lab time and those kind of things. And the recurring revenue, as you see every quarter, we put up on the websites the flight hours, and you see the recurring revenue growing steadily from our existing aircraft. The new contracts we're signing are going to add to that. I think that this is a good solid year for us from a revenue growth point of view, a reduction in cost point of view, and stabilization of our product. I'm not going to tell anybody in this room that we're going to have a hockey stick and everything's going to take off, because we did that once before and that didn't turn out so good, so I'm not getting in that ball of wax again. But the thing that we have done is put the product, the people, the services in place to attract a customer like NetJets. We have more opportunities that we're working on with organizations of that recognition in the aviation world that we think are going to happen in the next few months, few quarters. And we have a base to build on now with the products we've got. The 220 was tired. It's a great product. It does great things, but it wasn't certified to the level we needed. And the new product gives us that extra step to really build a solid, big, growing business from. But aviation moves at the speed of darkness, as every shareholder in this room knows, and I can't predict when it's going to bust loose. The things that we're doing as a program, and I'll start with that, is that one of the Grant did a great job for 5 years for us as an investor relations person. Yes. Barnes, I think, has a lot of great contacts and could introduce us to a lot of people. The problem was the story wasn't ready to take out last year. If I went to all the investors and said, we're going to have something really great in 12 months, it wouldn't have done any good. And it would have used a lot of money and a lot of time to go and do that. And the board of directors decided, rightly or wrongly, that let's just not push hard on IR until we've got a story to tell. Until we've got product, we've got launch customers, we've got a story. And we've been working really, really hard with about 6 analysts at various firms, Canaccord, Raymond James, Cormark, what's the guy in Quebec, Ben's company?
Laurentian.
Laurentian. I've got 2 in the US and New York that I've been staying in constant touch with. And they're watching our developments, and they're all very interested in launching. One of our shareholders introduced us to a guy named Alex Hamilton, who covers aerospace and is interested in small businesses in, what was it, March? That you introduced us to him? January? Oh, but I was in Hawaii, so it was March when I got a hold of him. He's coming the end of next week. When we finally got a hold of him 2 weeks ago and told him the story over the phone, walked through this presentation with him on the phone, he started making arrangements to come to Calgary. He's coming here May 29th, 30th, and June 1st to spend the day with us because they're interested in covering it, because it is a good story. But all of the analysts are looking at, you got to show me where the traction's going to be before I put my neck on the line to cover your story. And I've been working with them all year. I haven't been ignoring them. I've been telling them what we do for the product and staying in touch with them. And I would be very surprised if we don't get coverage from at least 3 of those guys in the next 30 to 90 days. Once we've got that coverage, they'll introduce us into their firms where we can present to brokers. We don't need Grant or somebody to introduce us because they'll bring us into their organization to present to brokers. We've got a database that Tammy's been keeping of how many people? 500 people in our database probably?
Close to
1,000 people in our database that we've been sending updates to, emails to, that we're reaching out to now and starting to cultivate. And again, nothing against the IR firms, but we've been around long enough and we have enough contacts and we know enough of our investors that I believe we can get out and see the right ones to make this work. The reason we brought somebody young to do it is because they want to hear from somebody that knows the story, from the ground up. And, Kent presented to Airbus 2 years ago in September. Went into Airbus's offices in Toulouse, sat at a boardroom table with his laptop and an internet connection, and demonstrated to Airbus an aircraft coming into de Gaulle Airport for a landing, streaming all of their black box data. That personal experience, when he gets in front of the brokers or the analysts, he gets a lot more attention than I do. And a big part of our program going forward is Kent taking that personal experience out to those brokers, out to those institutions, and being able to tell a story from a first-hand perspective of what this product does. And I think that's as valuable or more valuable than having an IR firm with a big Rolodex. Well, we went to Montreal, we went to Toronto, we've had a trip scheduled to Vancouver that ended up getting canceled because of other people's priorities. And that's in the last 30 days. We're going to New York, we're going back to Toronto, and so there are trips planned and we are working. Well, we asked Chuck if he wanted to serve, and he's on 3 or 4 other boards, major companies, lease companies, Allegiant in the U.S., boards that are taking a lot of his time. One of the problems for our directors, and one of the things they've been excellent with us, is we have a lot of short-term phone tomorrow, I need somebody, we need a meeting in 2 days because we've got to decide something that has to be done at the board level. That didn't fit well with how he works or where he works. He's not here today because he's at a board meeting in France. And it just, he is a great guy, he's a great director. There was nothing, take out of him, maybe, did you talk to him? There was no reason other than it just was not a great fit from the size of the company. I don't know. We've got 2 or 3 deals that are imminent that would, a couple of them we wouldn't have to go back to the market. A couple of them we may have to go back to the market because it requires some certification, but it's a really big upside. We have not made that decision today.